Thank you so much for joining me online. Welcome to Kevin Talks Tech, my technology blog and podcast, all about making technology more simple, easy, and fun to understand. So hey, how is this today for a bit of a scenery change? It's December 1st in Minnesota. Honestly, in Minnesota, you never know what days are going to be like during the winter, and today we actually happen to be in the middle of a snowstorm, believe it or not. This is called the Stone Arch Bridge. It gives you a great view of downtown Minneapolis. Today the view isn't so great, but if you were to come out here during the summertime, there's a good chance you'd see people walking, biking, scootering down the bridge wearing wireless headphones, specifically AirPods. These things have become so popular because of their portability, their connectivity, the accessibility factor, all play into it. So the question I'm setting out here to answer today: are AirPods worth it? If you're thinking about it for Christmas or a birthday, or you just haven't jumped on that bandwagon yet, is it worth shelling out those couple $100, if not more than a couple $100 for these wireless headphones? And I'm going to tell you flat out from the beginning, prior to me becoming an AirPod user, I wasn't sold on them. I thought they were a complete waste of money. I wondered why anybody would go out there and spend that kind of money on something like this. But after using the AirPods now for a while, I've completely changed course on them. And I do think they are worth the money, and I do think they are a good value. So let me just talk a little bit about the reasons why. The first thing that I really like is that connectivity. So when I'm talking about that, I'm really speaking to Apple users, people that are using an iPhone, an iPad, or perhaps maybe have a MacBook, because the AirPods do pair very well with Apple type devices. When I put my AirPods in my ear, right away, as soon as I pop that baby out of the case, my iPhone recognizes that I've put the AirPod into my ear. It's connected to the iPhone already, which is fantastic. And if I want to kind of pause what I'm doing or pause what I'm listening to, I just simply have to take the AirPod out, and what I have on my iPhone or my iPad or my MacBook will pause, which is fantastic. So I love that connectivity piece with the Apple devices. If you're an Android user, that connectivity piece isn't really going to be there for you, and so that's kind of a tougher sell then. Are the AirPods worth it? If you're an Apple user, definitely worth considering. If you're not on an Apple device, you may want to give it a little bit more questioning perhaps. Another piece that I really enjoy is sound quality. These things do sound great, the basses sound great, the volume is great, your lows and your highs, it's all there, which is really, really nice. That's ultimately, I think, one of the most important things in a headphone that you should be looking at, because sound is very important, and we want to hear those sounds replicated correctly with these types of devices. So that piece is there. The piece that you're going to hear people talk about is the fit. Now, this has been a little bit corrected here in a new version of the AirPods that came out at the end of 2019, but the previous versions leading up to that, people often complained about how the AirPods fit into their ear. And that's actually one thing I've kind of noticed too. I think the fit is okay, but it's really not that same kind of fit that you get with those wired earbuds that come with an Apple device, such as an iPhone. This has reportedly been improved in the new version of the AirPods that have come out. I have not tested those yet, so I can't give you my honest opinion about it. For me personally, not as big of a deal. They usually do stay in my ear. I've never actually had them fall out of my ear. But there was an article that came out not long ago that talked about how New York Port Authority workers were getting sick of going down into the subway tracks to retrieve people's AirPods that had fallen out of their ears. So it is definitely worth something, worth keeping that in mind, is the fit. If you have a friend who has the AirPods, I highly recommend asking them if you can try an AirPod in, walk around for a while with it, kind of move your head and such, and find out if that fit is okay with you. I think that's important to do. If you don't get the chance to do that, I think they have done a good job, Apple anyway, of making the AirPods fit well. But like I said, since you are spending more money on these, if you do have that opportunity, I do think that is a good idea. So another thing that I do like, going back a little bit to the connectivity, is how you have the ability to control everything right on the iPhone or right on the iPad with the AirPods. You've got the volume control, which is great. Once the AirPods are in, you can move the volume up and down. And they've also now introduced the ability to share the audio with other people nearby that are also wearing AirPods. So you don't have to give an AirPod to your friend and then you have an AirPod in. Now you've got the ability to share that music between people that are wearing AirPods nearby you, which is fantastic. So you may be asking, what is my overall impression of the AirPods? Is the device worth it? I really do think it is, but again, I do think it depends on if you are an Apple user. If you have some kind of Apple device, I think there is a significant value that is brought to you that other people who are using an Android-based phone, or maybe a Windows phone if there's some still out there, that they don't necessarily have that value added to it. And then of course, like I said, if you've got somebody that you know that does have this device, you can take some time, put in your ear. I do think that's worth it too. Like I said, fit is good, sound quality is good, but it is worth testing out. Again, if you want to find out more of my videos, head to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/KevinTalksTech. We'll see you again next time for another version of Kevin Talks Tech.